Alright, my name is Ava Kraups and I'm a yoga instructor at the Cal Poly Recreation Center. Today I'll be leading you through about a 30-minute power flow. We won't necessarily be needing any props, but if you do have 2 blocks, they might come in handy later, and if you don't have yoga blocks, that's no problem. You can use food cans, anything that just brings the floor a little bit closer to you, that won't wobble too much. You can even stack food cans if you need even a little bit more height. And we'll go ahead and get started. We'll be focusing on the hips today, really opening up those hips. So we can start by finding your way onto your back and hugging the knees into the chest. Just begin by focusing on the breath, noticing how it feels in your body today. Hugging the knees to create pressure on the abdomen, and then taking an inhale so that you feel the belly raise into the thighs, creating pressure. Maybe inhaling to a count of 5, pausing at the top, and then exhaling, feeling the belly release away from the thighs. Once again, take an inhale to the count of 5. And exhaling to the count of 5. Continuing with this breath. If Ujjayi breath is in your practice, you may begin to do so. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this, I describe it as if a piece of glass was in front of your nose. On the exhale, you'll audibly hear your exhale, so as if you wanted to fog up that piece of glass. Keeping the mouth closed. Continue with these 5 count breaths. After your next exhale, we'll cross the right knee over the left. You can just keep it crossed, or if you can tuck those toes under, that works also. Right arm will come on top of the left. Hands can either meet the shoulders, or hands can meet each palm in front of your face. On an exhale, hands extend overhead, toes reach towards the floor. And on the exhale, elbows and knees meet in the middle. Inhale, extend, and exhale, touch. Inhale, extend, exhale, touch. We'll do 2 more. Inhale, extend, exhale, touch. Inhale, extend, and exhale, touch and hold in the middle for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uncrossing the legs this time, the left will come on top, option to tuck those left toes under. The left arm crosses above the right, palms can either meet the shoulders or palms in the center. Inhale, extend, toes to floor, hands overhead, and exhale, touch. Inhale, extend, and exhale, touch. 3 more. Inhale, extend, exhale, touch. Inhale, extend, and exhale, touch. Inhale, extend, and exhale, touch. Holding it in the center for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just hugging the knees into center once more. You can make little circles, massaging out the lower back on the mat. And reversing the circles. Begin to gently rock back and forth with a curved spine until we can reach all the way forward, coming into all fours position. Wrists will come right under the shoulders, knees over hips. Knees are about hip distance apart, toes can either be tucked or flat. All 5 fingers are going to spread wide, pressing into the mat. On an inhale, we drop the belly button towards the floor, lengthening through the neck. And exhale, pushing the hands, the belly button comes in towards the spine. Looking back at the knees. Inhale, dropping the belly towards the floor, looking up, extending through the whole spine. Exhale, pressing into the hands, trying to create space through each vertebrae. Inhale, dropping the belly. And exhale, curling in. Doing a few more at your own breath. Option to also sway side to side. You can make circles with your back, whatever feels good to you. And then coming back to stillness. We're gonna walk the hands about one handprint forward, tucking the toes and lifting the hips into our first downward facing dog. Option to walk the dog, bending one knee at a time, excuse me. Making sure that we're pressing into the hands and fingers so that all the weight is on the wrists. Just gently warming up the body. Making sure that the tailbone is extended towards the ceiling. And coming to stillness. Making sure that we're still focusing on those 5 count deep belly breaths. On an inhale, lifting the toes, bending the knees, gently walking our way towards the front of the mat, and forward fold. Make sure that we're bending the knees so that the torso is completely rested on the thighs. If that means you have to bend the knees a lot, that is totally fine as we're still warming up. We want to make sure that there's no pressure in the low back. Option to grab opposite elbows and sway side to side, ragdoll. Shaking the head yes and no, making sure the neck is released. On an inhale, hands come to shins, looking up halfway with a flat spine. And exhale forward, making sure those knees are still bent so that the torso is rested. Inhale, hands come up all the way overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, hands up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, looking up halfway with a flat spine, lengthening through the neck. And exhale, fold forward. Planting the hands on the mat, stepping one foot back at a time into a plank pose. Option here is to always lower to the knees. We're gonna roll about 2 inches forward, lowering down chaturanga, making sure those elbows stay in towards the ribs. Feet come flat on the floor, making sure that the tops of feet are pressed into the floor. Hands are besides the chest, and elbows squeezing in. Inhale, looking up into either a cobra or lifting the hips into an upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Taking 2 breaths in down dog. Maybe seeing if we can release the heels a little bit lower towards the mat. If they don't touch, that is totally fine. Inhale, coming to the tips of the toes, bending the knees, and walking or stepping our way towards the front of the mat. Inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, hands up overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center. Once again, inhale, hands up, and exhale, fold. Inhale, looking up halfway. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back, lowering chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Once again, taking 2 breaths in down dog. Making sure we're pressing through the fingers. Making sure the legs are squeezing in towards one another and tailbone reaching towards the ceiling. Inhale, coming to the tips of the toes, bending the knees. Walk or step towards the front of the mat. Inhale, look up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, hands up overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center. Once again, inhale, hands up, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale, down dog. Once again, lifting the heels, bending the knees, making your way towards the front of the mat. Inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, hands up overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center. Big toes will come to touch, heels just slightly apart, sweeping the hands up overhead, lowering as if you were sitting into a chair pose. Making sure we can still see the big toes. If we can't see them, drift the weight into the heels. Maybe stepping down just a little bit lower. Hands will come to heart center. Making sure that the weight comes onto the right foot until we can gently raise up that left. Sending that left foot back, straightening on that right, coming into warrior three, creating a flat line with the back leg. Maybe hands come up overhead. And then bending that right leg to step back into a high lunge. Once again, hands come to heart center. Twisting over to the left, hooking the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Option here, you can lower to the back knee for a little bit less. Or if you'd like more, you can open throughout the arms. Both hands find the floor. Stepping the right foot back and moving through Vinyasa. Taking 2 breaths in downward facing dog. In down dog, big toes come to touch. Lifting to the tops of the toes, bending the knees. Hopping to the front of the mat. Making sure the big toes still touch, feel slightly apart, and coming back into that chair pose. Once again, making sure we can see the big toes. Maybe sitting just a little bit lower. Hands come to heart center. Bringing the weight to the left foot this time until we can lift that right foot up and shooting that right foot back. Warrior three. Maybe hands come up overhead. Bending that right knee until we step into a lunge. Once again, hands come to center. This time twisting over to the right. There's always that option of stepping onto that back knee, or if you'd like a little bit more, extending through the arms. Both hands come to the floor and moving through that Vinyasa. Lowering the knees down to the mat, about as wide as the mat. Big toes come to touch, and we're going to take a few breaths in a child's pose. If you lost those 5 count breaths, try to find them once again. Maybe taking a big clearing breath, inhaling through the nose, and exhaling through the mouth. Bringing yourself back up to all fours, tucking the toes, finding your way back into that downward facing dog. On inhale, lifting that right foot up, bending through the knees. You can circle up an ankle or making big circles with the legs. Reversing the circle. Option here to also flip the dog. And then bringing that right hand back down to the floor, extending through that right leg, stepping it between the hands. Turning out that back foot 90 degrees so that it's parallel with the short edge of your mat, and coming up into warrior two. From here, we're gonna move through something I like to call dancing warrior. So on inhale, right hand flips up, reverse the warrior. And on the exhale, right elbow to right knee, finding an extended side angle. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, side angle. And moving through a few at your own breath. Making sure we're still bending that front knee, maybe coming a little bit deeper. And then finding our way back to standing, extending through that front leg, making it straight, Reaching as far forward as we can before coming into triangle. This is where your prop might come in handy. You might want to reach for it with your right hand, or the hand can just stay on the calf. And then both hands come to the floor, stepping the right foot back, moving through Vinyasa. Taking 2 breaths in down dog, finding those 5 count breaths. Inhale, lifting that left foot up, bending at the knee, rolling out ankle or hips. Reversing. And then option to also flip the dog. Coming back to 3-legged dog. Stepping that left foot through the hands. Turning out that back foot 90 degrees, coming into warrior 2 on the left. I'm gonna switch sides. On an inhale, flipping that left hand up, reversing the warrior. And exhale, finding side angle. Right hand up overhead. Inhale, reversing the warrior. And exhale, extend side angle. And moving through a few more at your own breath. One more, finding that bend in the knee still. Coming back up to standing, extending through that front leg, reaching forward to find triangle. Looking up at that right hand, making sure that it's directly up overhead, not too far forward, not too far back. Both hands find the floor, and moving through that Vinyasa. Inhale, coming to the tips of the toes, bending the knees, finding your way to the front of the mat. Inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, hands come up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. For this next posture, the props might come in handy, so just placing one on either side of the mat. We're gonna step the right foot about halfway back the mat, toes slightly pointing out. On an inhale, hands find the hips, lengthening through the spine, and then with a straight spine, slowly folding forward. Hands come to props. On your next inhale, no matter where you are, try to lengthen through the spine, finding fingertips, and exhale, folding forward. Option to find the right hand to the outside of the left foot on a prop. Left hand can come to the left hip. If you like to go further, you can extend that left hand up overhead. Continuing with those deep belly breaths. Gently bringing that left hand back down. Both hands find the hips. And coming back up to standing, switching feet. Inhaling through the spine, and exhale to fold forward. Hands come to props. Inhale, finding a straight spine on your fingertips, and exhale, fold. Option to bring that left hand to the outside of the right foot. Right hand finds the hip. And for even more, extending the right hand up overhead. Making sure that the right hand has energy coming out of the fingertips, reaching up towards the ceiling. Continuing with those deep belly breaths. Right hand finds the floor, both hands to hips, and coming back up to standing, both feet in front, removing the props, maybe keeping them close by. Inhale, hands up overhead, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, looking up halfway. And exhale, option to move through that vinyasa, or you can always just step downward facing dog. On an inhale, lifting that right foot up, stepping it between the hands, dropping to the back of that left foot, and both hands come up overhead. Reaching that back for that back foot, so bending it, either one hand can come to it, or if it is in your practice, both hands can find that back foot. Making sure that the right knee stays over the right ankle and it's not too far forward, so that we protect the knee. Gently releasing the foot, finding our way onto the front right foot. Coming into eagle, so left crosses over right, right hand under left. Once again, hands can come to shoulders or palms can meet, and sitting down as far as we can. Maybe sitting just a little bit lower. Sometimes we lose our balance. If you're having trouble balance, you can also bring the left toe to the floor. And then slowly crossing the legs with the hands still crossed, extending it to that warrior three. Keeping the hands crossed in front, making sure there's energy through the back leg. And both hands find the floor, coming into half splits. Making sure that the left inner thigh is rotating up towards the ceiling. Energy through the toes. For extra added balance, you can try grabbing onto the ankle with both hands or one hand. And if you'd like, you can take a few handstand hops. And then both hands find the floor, forward fold. Inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, both hands come up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, looking up halfway. And exhale, option to move through that vinyasa. Inhale, this time left leg up. Stepping it between the hands. Lowering that back knee, both hands come up overhead. Either reaching for that back foot with one hand, or both. Continuing with those deep belly breaths, making sure that that front knee is over the ankle and not over the toes. Finding that weight into the front foot. Coming to standing, right foot crosses over left, and right arm under left. Sorry, left arm under right. Once again, right toes can come to the floor if you're having trouble balancing. Otherwise, try to sit further. Gently uncrossing the legs, coming into that warrior three. Trying to keep energy through that back leg. And then both hands find the floor. Rotating that right inner thigh up. For an extra added challenge, trying to grab the ankle with one or both hands. Option to also take a few handstand hops. Just bringing that weight into the arms. And both feet find the floor. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows and swaying side to side. Once again, inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, both hands up overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, looking up halfway, and exhale, moving through your last Vinyasa of the practice. Inhale, lifting that right leg up overhead, stepping it between the hands, and walking that right foot out to the long edge of your mat. So just as wide as you can make it. Option here is to bring the elbows onto a prop or to the floor. You can also reach for the back foot. And to stay in this posture longer, go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, gently coming back up to the hands, walking the right foot over to the right, lowering that knee down and coming into a pigeon. If it's a little bit too intense, you can always walk that right foot closer in towards the body, and then coming down to the elbows. Once again, to hang out in the stretch a little bit longer, go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, bringing the hands to the mat, tucking the back toe, lifting up, pressing into a downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting that left leg up, stepping it between the hands, walking it over to the left, and either lowering to the elbows, grabbing the back foot, taking it wherever you like, and pausing the video to hang out a little bit longer. Otherwise, coming back up to the hands, walking the foot over to the left, coming into pigeon. Once again, walking that left foot in closer for a little bit less of a stretch. Coming down to the elbows, and pausing if you like a longer stretch. From here, we're just gonna bring the right foot to the front of the mat to meet the left. Slowly lowering down to our back, hugging the knees into the chest. Hands come out long, and dropping the feet over to the right, coming into a twist. Taking a few long breaths here. Twists are very detoxifying, so making sure that we're really taking deep breaths to detoxify the spine. Bringing both knees back up to center, and then over to the left. And continuing with those long, deep breaths. Bringing both knees back into center, hugging the knees into the chest one last time, lifting the head off the mat, bringing it to the knees, and then extending the feet long, palms come out wide, keeping the eyes closed, feet fall out to the side, finding ourselves into our last pose, Shavasana, completely letting the body relax into the floor, releasing any tension, and letting the breath go back to normal. Taking a mental check, starting from the tips of the toes, going to the top of the head, making sure that every muscle is released in the body and melting into the floor. Also making sure that the tongue is released off the roof of the mouth, the jaw is relaxed, and the area between your eyebrows, the third eye, is released so that the face is not scrunched or tensed in any way. Feel free to voice as I direct your way out and stay in Shavasana as long as your body needs. Otherwise, gently begin to deepen the breath, wiggling the fingers and toes, rolling out ankles and wrists. Maybe taking a big morning stretch, reaching the hands overhead, lengthening through the legs. And whenever you're ready, rolling your way onto the right side of the body, using the bicep as a pillow. Taking a few breaths here. This posture symbolizes a rebirth, rejuvenation, energy. And then using the strength of the arms to push yourself up into a seated position at the front of your mat. Whatever is comfortable to you, keeping the eyes closed, hands to heart center, gently bowing down the chin. I want to thank you for sharing your practice today with me. And the highest light in me sees and honors the highest light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing today with me, and stay healthy and